All right, so we have our building here. In the previous video, we talked a little bit about roofs. Let's talk a little bit about step footings in this, because if you look at your drawings show that we have the building stepping on the one side. So let's go to a front elevation. And so here's what we have going on. We're going up 1 foot 1 inch, and we're going over 2 feet 3 inches. And so basically the building code talks about steps, and there's kind of a couple maximums. So essentially you can't have more than a 45-degree angle on a step. And so typically what you'll see is a run of around 4 often, and you'll see a maximum rise of 2 feet. So here we actually have quite a bit less in terms of what we're doing with the steps. So we're going up 1 foot 1, we're going over 2 foot 3. So not super hard, but we also just need to actually start off by modeling our footings. So let's go back to our SketchUp here. And we do have our footings here, so we actually did do that. I forgot we did that last week, or a couple weeks ago. And so we want to come in, we're going to do this a little bit backwards. We're going to come in 3 foot 9, 2 foot 3, 2 foot 3. So we're going to create those sections where that is stepped, and we will fix that. So let's, or we can do this the other, yeah, I guess we're going to do it that way. Let's do it that way. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll figure it out in a minute. So I'm just going to create a little bit of a line here that we'll use as kind of a guide. So we'll call this 3 feet 9 inches. Is it 3 feet 9 inches? I think it was.
Yeah, 3 feet 9.
Okay. 3 feet 9, then we'll go over 2 foot 3. And then we'll go over 2 foot 3 again. And the cool thing about this line is it is not part of our group. So I'm just going to extend these lines up, and it's just going to give us a bit of a guide of where we need to be going with our steps. And we can delete these lines after. So those are our lines. We could actually go ahead and group these, and that might be something that you may want to do just to keep them out of the way. Make group. And then let's actually go in and edit our footings and our foundation wall here. So let's start with our footings. And so we want to go up 1 foot 1. And again, now we have these guidelines here, so they can help us. So let's go 1 foot 1. And then we're going to go over here. We're going to go up our 1 foot 1. And we're going to go over here, and we're going to go up our 1 foot 1 again. And we're going to finish off that line. And so by using these guidelines, it kind of keeps you a little bit organized with where we want the steps to go. And let's just look back at our drawing. And so it looks like that is the outer edge of our footing. And so we want to get the inner edge. And so if we come back here like this, if our footing is 6 inches, I will usually, so our footing is 6 inches, I'll usually do that same thing in reverse, but I'll start 6 inches over. So I'll go 6 inches, and then we'll go up 1 foot 1 minus 6, or actually, sorry, we're starting at the bottom. So we just go up 1 foot 1. And then we can go over our 2 foot 3. And we go up our 1 foot 1. And the reason why I'm doing this first, 2 foot 3 there, is now that we have these lines, it's easier to create a slope. So it's easier to create that sloped area that you would see in our footings. And we're just kind of tracing our bottom of our footing part. And so with this, we can grab this bottom line now, and we can come up on a 45-degree angle. And if we can't get that number cleanly, we can just go over 1 foot 1. we can find that point and we can just bring it down. Go over our 1 foot 1. Bring that point down and do the same here. And then we can remove these extra lines. And it looks like I removed an additional line that we don't want to remove. Just be careful with your lines here. So that's our steps of our footing there. And so we want to bring this across. So let's hide our foundation walls for a second. And so we want to bring this across here. So let's extrude this through to be our thickness of our physical footing. And so it looks something like that. And just to keep our lives simple, we could actually close our group and we can just add these lines all the way over to the other side. So what I might do is this. We'll just bring these lines over like this. And I'm just trying to avoid a bunch of cleanup that I don't want to do. And so we can use this kind of to bring all these lines through. And then the cool thing about doing this in a group like this is we could just delete this group after. I could have just extruded this all the way through too, but I didn't want to then try to cut it out after because it'd be a little bit messy to cut out. And then we'll do the bottom here. Cross like that. Pretty sure I have this line. I'm just going to verify I do. And we can close our group. It looks like we have most of the lines going across there. And let's just create a box. And you know what? I did this not in our footing group, so that was sweet. Could have been easier to, I mean, it very well might have been easier to not do the way I just did it, but I think this makes a lot of sense. And we can just trace these points. Like so. And we can trace the underside of these points as well. And all the way across to there. And that gives us our extrusion. So it wasn't too bad. If it extrudes a hole like that, we can extrude and then hit the control button, and it'll keep that face on that other side. So we've got our footing here. We can erase these outer lines. And then what I might go do here is I might just close my group. Let's delete this group I had. Let's delete these lines, these extra lines I created. Not in the group. Oh, no, I don't want to close that. And so now that we have this, we can kind of finish off this footing. Let's close this down. And let's get rid of our underside there and erase some more lines here. And we need to close in this part. Just extrude that in maybe. And then once we finish with this, we just need to do the physical walls, which I probably shouldn't have deleted that group, but it shouldn't be too bad to figure that part out. And we also just need to close in this end part here. And our footing is how wide? 1'8". So let's just extrude this in 1'8". Inches, and I did 9. Do that again. 1'8". And then we can just clean up some of these extra lines here. So that wasn't so bad, right? And we could have just extruded that all the way across as well. That would have been another way to do it. Looks like we're missing our footing on our bottom here, and it's because we're missing this part. There we go. And let's just delete this area inside there. Why do we have that? There we go. So that's our footings. Here's another line to clean up. And I guess with this bottom part, we should actually do that, and then we can extrude this through. That looks a little better. Do it on this side. So a little bit of cleanup, not too bad. I mean, you probably can find some more efficient ways to do some of the things that I did, but that only took me like 10 minutes to do that step footing part. So it's not too bad overall. And yeah, we got some step footings. Let's close this. Let's turn back on our foundation walls, because those are not going to match now. But the cool thing about this is we do have some lines to trace. So let's double click into our foundation here, and let's grab our intersection point here. Let's just trace this through. And let's extrude. Let's just try a different method this time. Let's extrude this through, and let's hit the control button. Let's see if we can extrude it all the way through to our other side. I think that went through that way. So let's do this way. I did, yeah. So I'm going to hit the control button to not pull the interior wall. And then we should be able to do some cleanup here. Let's just see. This is what I was kind of avoiding by drawing all those lines I did before. Just sometimes it's a little cleaner. But let's just turn off our footings here for a second. And yeah, so it looks like we have just a few other lines to clean up. Just be careful of how you're cleaning up those lines. And it looks like we have an issue on the top here where it didn't create this last line. And it did actually, let's just see what's going on here. Oh yeah, so it did miss this part. So, I don't know. Maybe this way is still faster, but a little bit more cleanup. And again, if you want to like connect points like that, what I'm doing is I'm finding where I want that point to connect, and then moving my line over to where I want the line to be, and that works. So we've got that area stepped, like so. Just remove any unnecessary lines. And I'm just going to hide my floor here for a second in the garage just to make sure we don't have a duplicate hole line there, and we don't, but we are missing this edge line here. There we go. And so that's our step foundation, so let's turn it all back on now. Let's close that. And so we have our foundation stepping in that zone. So not super difficult to do, but it's just a process, I guess. So yeah, so that's how to do step footings.